Hey guys, I'm going to be doing chord progression to What a God, and I'm doing this in the key of C. Okay, so start with verse 1, C, C, E, G. Who thought I'd find you in the lowest G, G, B, D? Place, A minor, A, C, E, this is actually an A minor 7, A, C, E, G, with A in your left, A and G in your left. Who thought you'd feel me in the crowd? G. F. F, A, C. This is actually an F2. You throw in your 2, which is a G. Who knew you'd make good of my mistakes? G. F. You're nothing like I thought. C. You were. You're better. G. Chorus. What a God, what a God. F. And then you go to a G. What a God, what a God. A minor. And then you go to C. Okay, so this is like it holds it out basically. What a God, what a God. F. G. What a God, what a God. A minor. C. Okay. Verse 2. A minor. I thought you'd show up for perfection. G. A minor. What kind of God looks for the lost? G. F. They say it's over for a sinner. G. D minor. You said no it's not. A minor. No it's not. G. D minor. You say no it's not. A minor. No it's not. G. And then you would go back to the chorus, which is F, G, A minor, C. And then verse 3 is the first bridge. And it's F, that F2 with your F, A, C, E, and you have your G added. If the highest place I've reached is at your feet, G, then I've done it all. If the best, A minor 7, A, C, E, G. If the best thing that I've seen is your glory, C, then I've seen it all. Back to F2. Your love has changed my life. G, forever satisfied. A minor. God, you are my G, everything. F. If one word is the only thing you speak, then I've heard it all. G. A minor. If I feel your heart and never see your hand, G, I still have it all. D minor. No treasure of this life, G, could ever satisfy. A minor. God, you are my G, everything. God, A minor. You are my G, everything. God, A minor. You are my everything, G. And then you would go to the chorus. When you do, I'll just give you like a little bit of vocal throw in here. Up to this point, what a God, the notes are what a God, 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 what a God. What a God, what a God, okay? Now it's gonna flip, your vocal parts flip, so your melody is here. What a God, what a God. What a God, what a God. What a God, what a God. F, G. What a God, what a God. A minor. Down to C, okay? That way you can just know where the melody is going, and you can move your hands if you feel. Verse 4 is another verse. F, angels bow before him. G, heaven and earth adore him. A minor, what a God, what a God. C, what a God, what a God. Okay? And then I move into another bridge, and it's just, there's no one. F, there's no one higher than you. G, there's no one higher than you. A minor, there's no one higher than you. C, there's no one higher than you. The chorus, verse 4, verse 5, and they actually throw in a few more lines for like just a few seconds. All of the chords follow the same chord progression: F, G, A minor, C. Okay? So if you wanted to listen to the original and throw in all of those other verses, you're welcome to. You just follow the chord progression. F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. And it basically follows that chord progression for the rest of the song. So I'm going to sing through this. I apologize. I know this is a really long one. I'm just going to sing straight through it. That way you can hear how the melody goes. Who thought I'd find you in the lowest place? Who thought you'd feel me in the crowd? Who knew you'd make good of my mistakes? You're nothing like I thought you were, you're better. What a God, what a God. 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 Verse 2. I thought you'd show up for perfection. What kind of God looks for the lost? They say it's over for a sinner. You said, no, it's not. No, it's not. You say, no, it's not. No, it's not. This is where the vocal switches. What a God, what a God. 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 Verse 3. The highest place I've reached is at your feet. That I've done it all. If the best thing that I've seen is your glory, that I've seen it all. Your love has changed my life, forever satisfied. You are my everything. If one word is the only thing you speak, then I've heard it all. If I feel your heart and never see your hand, I still have it all. No treasure of this life could ever satisfy. God, you are my everything. God, you are my everything. God, you are my everything. Verse 4. Angels bow before you, heaven and earth adore him. What a God, what a God. What a God, what a God. You would repeat that a few times. I'm going to move on to verse 5. There's no one higher than you. 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 And you repeat that a few times, and then you go back to what a God chorus. And they go back in real on the real loud, what a God, what a God. And then they bring it back down to what a God, what a God. What a God, what a God. So that is chord progressions for What a God in a key of C. Thanks.